Hello everyone, my name is Ivan, and this is me at age 7. And growing up, I was very lonely and kind of disconnected. I was the only Jewish kid in my school and got bullied for that. I also grew up without video games and TV. What kind of parents would do that to a kid? Yeah, and so I was always really fascinated by what it was connection was. I didn't have a Christmas tree, I didn't know what The Simpsons were or Seinfeld, but I wanted to know, how were people relating? What were they talking about? What is pop culture? And so this really inspired what has now been a lifelong pursuit of this interest. And it actually led me to advertising, because in advertising it deals a lot with pop culture and in connection. And so that leads me to 2011, so we're fast forwarding. And I got my dream job at one of the top ad agencies in the world in Amsterdam. So I moved from the US to Europe and was really excited to ride bikes along the canal and meet new people and, yeah, just explore Europe. However, a lot of my time ended up being spent at the office, working late nights and weekends, staring more into a screen than actually interacting with other people. And I was particularly kind of bothered by the endless torrent of emails that kept coming through. And it just felt ironic because I was connecting with people over email, but it didn't feel that way. It felt hollow or kind of superficial. And so I kind of quickly fell into a dark depression, and then my girlfriend dumped me. And so sort of with no better option, I made a really radical decision that was quite difficult, and I chose to quit the job after just 5 months. And I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do, but I knew that I wanted to work with, kind of go back to my passion and explore connection in a way that was more tangible and meaningful than email. And so I ended up deciding to work with a new technology, a new medium. You might have heard of it. It's called snail mail. And I love snail mail. It's amazing. If you ever want to let someone know that you care about them, send them a handwritten letter. It's amazing. And so about a week after I quit the job, I started this new project. And I wanted to leverage snail mail to force myself to write more letters and also to inspire more people to get acquainted with this lost art. And so about a week later, I had the inspiration for this project called Snail Mail My Email, where I invited anyone in the world to send me an email and a recipient's physical address, and I'd handwrite it and then put it in the mail and send it anywhere in the world for free. And yeah, it existed as a website, so people could just go on and do that. And all was well for the first couple days. I got about 5 to 10 letters per day. But then on the 4th day, it got a lot of press coverage. And on that 4th day, I got over 1,000 letter requests. And I didn't have the time or resources to fulfill that. But I put a note on the website just asking if people would be willing to help out. And thankfully, people responded. And so the project turned into volunteer letter artists helping out, and really it was a crowdsourced project. So I want to share some of the letters with you. Andy, while you're hard at work, I am at home making blueberry pancakes while naked. And I love thinking about the volunteer here who doesn't know Andy, doesn't know S, and is just this in-between liaison that is doing their creative interpretation. And letters really spanned all shapes, sizes, and colors. We also had letters sent all around the world, mind you, so not just in English. Here we have a letter that's in Czech, in French, and in Portuguese. We had letters of acceptance from the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. We had knit letters. We even had marriage proposals. And it wasn't just quantity, it was quality as well. These volunteers really went for it, and it was pretty extraordinary. And these volunteers ranged from middle American moms to even middle school students in the Czech Republic that got assigned it for their art class. And at the end of the day, the project existed for a period of 6 years with 1-week installments every year. And during that time, the project had 2,000 volunteers that sent out over 29,000 letters, and the volunteers paid for all of the postage. The project turned into a book, which was a cool way for the letters to live on. And what this really taught me is that in our increasingly divided and digital world, human connection is more important than ever. And these simple yet profound moments of connection are actually always available to us. And we might not realize it, but they really are. So I'd like to share 3 projects over the next 10 minutes that exemplify this. So the Passenger Project turns airplane passengers into creative collaborators. And the inspiration for this was I was at a wedding, flying back from a wedding, and I was really struck by the contrast between how warm the wedding was and then kind of how sterile and cold the flight felt. And I just thought, there's got to be a way of like uniting everyone aboard this miracle that we're experiencing this flight. And I thought, a survey. And so I created a series of surveys that I now pass around, and it just is a clipboard, a survey, and a pen. So I'll just share a couple with you. This invites passengers to decorate one empty space. And I'll pass it around, it's blank, and then look what it comes back as. And so each of these represents a different passenger. This is going from LA to New York. This one going from San Francisco to Denver. And I like to really examine how different people are influenced by the different spaces. And so we're just going to pinpoint here to 2 rival sports fans. One saying go Cards and one saying go Giants. This one invites people to mark an X where their home is and mark an X where their dream vacation would be. And so I'm flying from Seattle, and yet people's dream vacations are all around the world. And if you notice on the left, even outer space, which I thought was a creative interpretation. This one invites people to answer the prompt, my hopelessly ambitious dream is to ... Be the reason 2 enemies become friends, be a princess and live in a castle, and teach a parrot to say, help, I've been turned into a parrot. And this project's a lot of fun, and it's really taught me that everything's a medium. You know, look around, and everything's a medium for human connection. It also involves some degree of rejection. Not everyone wants to participate, and I'm okay with that. I think that any sort of attempt for connection inherently involves risk. And so I invite you, if you're interested in taking a small risk, you're welcome to participate the next time you fly. You can download a free PDF at thepassengerproject.com. Next project I'd like to share is the Last Photo Project, and it invites strangers to share intimate moments from their phone. And I'm really interested in the fact that so many of us have smartphones now, and when we're out in public on our phone, we're generally connecting with people that remotely, but in doing so, we're hindering our ability to connect with those around us. And so I decided to just walk up to people and ask them what they were doing on their phone as a way of breaking that barrier. And I specifically asked people, what's the last photo on your phone? And so I want to share, I made it a series of that. I want to share a quick clip from the Last Photo New York edition.
Last photo I got was a collage that my wife made of a couple of gifts that I had got her last weekend. A couple of pair of Ugg shoes, bracelet, a Michael Kors watch, just showing her that I love her and appreciate it to the extent that gifts gonna come before Christmas, after Christmas, and so forth and so on.
This morning I just took a picture of my cat shit because I was joking with my friends. She sent me a picture from her cat shit, so I sent her exactly the same. So
it's a picture of me playing Guitar Hero naked while lying down on a beanbag. I don't remember much of the backstory, so I think I was pretty drunk.
That photo right here, man, that's me chilling out on the spa, at the spa, you know what I'm saying, with my girl at the spa. We getting, you know, dual back massages and all that shit, you know. I'm over there with the cucumber water and all of that shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, you gotta live life on the weekends, you know what I mean? You gotta live your life on the weekends, you know what I'm saying? Fucking steak and shrimp on the weekends, you know what I'm saying?
I have an album of about 200 photographs of clouds. The inspiration behind it is just sort of release from the city.
And so this project has really taught me that the ordinary is truly extraordinary. I've done this project in 9 different cities, and I'll spend generally 3 full days per city. And so I really get to interact with hundreds of people on the street, and it's totally transformed how I carry myself in public, and it's really taught me a lot about the value of just being open and holding space for people. The series has been viewed over 1 million times, and I got to talk about it on national TV with the news anchor Crystal Ball on the bottom left. And what's been great about that is that exposure has inspired filmmakers from around the world to conduct their own last photo editions in their respective cities. So all the black dots here are where I've done my series, and then the blue dots are where other people have done theirs, from Slovenia to Brazil and Korea. And I love the idea that just through me talking to strangers, it's inspired other people to talk to strangers around the world. The last project I'd like to share with you is called Selfless Portraits. It was co-created with artist Jeff Greenspan, and it's strangers across the world drawing each other's Facebook profile pics. And the insight is that on social media, it oftentimes is breadth over depth. So it's easy to talk to a lot of people quickly, but it's hard to have like a deep, intimate moment with people. And so that was the challenge we set out for ourselves. And the way it worked was, in order to have your portrait drawn, you first had to draw a stranger. And it was quite amazing to see what kind of mediums people used, from collage to hand-cut linoleum stamps. Some people spent an absurd amount of time on their portrait. And for anyone that's drawn a portrait, you know that it's a really intimate process of looking into someone's eyes and studying them. And some were just fun. This is me when I had longer hair. And it was great to see how innovative people were and what they decided to change in their portrait of their subject. I appreciate that you can create a portrait of someone using household items. This was drawn in the Congo. And finally, a permanent connection. This is Amarildo from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Joey from California on the right. They don't know each other, they'd never spoken, and yet they're forever connected through this project. So this project lasted for 2.5 years, and during that time we had over 50,000 portraits drawn from 153 countries, and we were really happy with that response. And we actually pitched it to Facebook and a couple of brands, and everyone ended up turning it down. And they liked the idea, but they felt it was too risky, and like, what if people don't participate? And for me, it was really validating to do this project and to really trust connection. And so I'd just like to share a couple of lessons I've learned through these projects. The first is that people are capable of so much more than share, like, and tweet. They just need to be empowered. And it's really easy to look at metrics and data and numbers as the only metric to gauge success. I think when we do that, though, we kind of we miss the mark, and we're not actually allowing people to do as much as they're capable of doing. Next, we as humans yearn to be seen, heard, felt, and connected with. And in my work as an artist, filmmaker, and creative director, I've really firsthand seen this to be true. I think that we all have this, whether we realize it or not, this innate desire for connection and for understanding. And I think it actually motivates all of our actions. If offered a compelling human experience, people will do just about anything to be a part of it. And then lastly, it's easy to think about a stranger as like other or separate, but I think it's pretty radical to think about a stranger as actually someone that we just haven't connected with yet. And that subtle reframe has really shifted how I operate and carry myself in public. That said, we're living in a time of likely unprecedented division and distraction and disconnection, right? Technology keeps rising. The New York Times just released a study that 40% of Americans identify as lonely. And so it might feel kind of hopeless, but I see opportunity. I think that connection is actually, it's not even a choice, it's kind of all we have left is to find the unity, to find the connection. And that could be as simple as a smile to someone or eye contact. It could be a random compliment. It could be paying for the person behind you at the tolls. Whatever that is, find what feels good for you, but I really invite you to explore that. And so I want to leave you with a prompt that you're welcome to take, and that is, how can you facilitate human connection today? Thank you.